Hello friends, welcome back. Little change of pace here. So again, I'm in Ocracoke with 5 other artists painting all week long. I've done 5 oil paintings. I'll do one more this afternoon, and I've done 4 watercolor. So I have 2 watercolors that I'm fairly happy with. Hang on, let me show them to you. And both of these are what I call cheater watercolors. That is to say, I used opaque medium, essentially, like up here in the sky. That blue is all opaque. That's one, and this is another very abstract. This one quite nice. It's a very famous tree on this island. So those 2 I was happy with, but the 2 that I did as pure watercolor with no pencil, no pen and ink. Anyway, I wasn't happy with them. So here at the last minute, I've decided, okay, well, if I don't like it very much, why not tackle it? So I've already done a whole bunch of pen and ink here. Sorry, I should have brought you in earlier. I didn't think this would be broadcast worthy, but I've changed my mind and decided, in fact, that it is worth looking at. I think the one thing, again, this is maybe for you pen and ink or watercolor people, what surprises a lot of people, I think, would surprise a lot of people, is that many times I do the pen and ink after the watercolor. Most people would think you draw the thing and then draw it in pen and ink and then come back and do watercolor on top of it. And certainly that's an approach. But most of the time I actually go the other way around. Not all the time, but most of the time. I actually do the watercolor first and then come back after that and do the line work. Again, so backwards from what most people would think, I think. And as you can see, I'm being very, very loose with the and boy, that's loose. Very loose with the pen and ink. My goal, my objective is more to create interesting marks and interesting texture than it is to create similitude. Again, I want these to look like 2 old people with their back toward us and a woman leaning, blah blah blah. Without getting all fussy about it, without rendering the heck out of it. I want you to get the feeling for what it is without me drawing every single jot and tittle, shall we say. So, in fact, an artist whose work I like and influenced me 25 years ago is a guy named Neil Watson. I've Googled him several times in the last few years and haven't really found much. He was about 20 years older than me, so he'd be getting on up there if he's still around. But Neil Watson, I think you can find a few things. Just Google Neil Watson pen and ink, and you can see some of his work. If you follow me often, you might have heard me quote him before, because he's the one who said, for every drawing mark that you make in a drawing or pen and ink, and by drawing mark he meant similitude, definition, realism. For every drawing mark that you make, you should make an art mark. An art mark is a splatter or a splash or a squiggle like this. That's an art mark. And look at his work. Now, I think that's an exaggeration when he says a 1-to-1 ratio. I think that's ridiculous. But I think he was exaggerating in order to make the point. Okay, let me put that aside there. That's in a mat already. And pick up the other one that I'm going to do the same thing with. This actually had a little bit of pen and ink work in it at the very beginning. And then it got all wiped out before I was done. Oops. There, are we still here? So this one also, I think will look better with my hand in it. I'm calling this here my hand. I'm calling my style of making marks. Everybody's hand is different, by the way. It's the strokes, the marks that I make are as unique to me as my fingerprints or my signature, and likewise to you. I cannot make marks like you can. Um, I don't think you should. You can be influenced by people, especially when it comes to their hand, but there's no way you can copy, I don't think. I mean, unless you just drive yourself insane. But there's no good reason to copy somebody else's hand. You have your own unique hands. Just the only person on the planet that makes marks exactly like you, and you should make your marks, not somebody else's marks. So again, just a little bit of definition. I'm not sure what this painting's going to be called, but the sign here on the wall says Fat Boys Seafood. And I think I'm going to actually outline those letters a little bit, make them legible, because I'm thinking about making that the title of the painting. It was a real loose, messy, hand-lettered sign, Fat Boy Seafood. I thought it was quite cute. And it's got this old boat in front of the house, in front of the shack. It's not a house. I don't think this is a restaurant or ever was a restaurant. I think it's just a place where they brought in the seafood from, what do you call that? A seafood outlet, And let's do some stuff up here in this foliage too. Here I am drawing completely with one hand, right? So when it comes to watercolors, many times I do revert to one hand. Not always, though. I do a lot of watercolor with two hands. Again, just the energy of those strokes. There, it is a better painting than it was a few minutes ago, I think, just because of the introduction of those marks. Okay, so that's all I need to show you. And again, the teaching point here might be, a lot of times watercolor first, line second, partly because once you draw lines, either in watercolor or in oil, once you draw lines, you're tempted to color in the lines. So this is a good way to avoid that. Do the lines last. Okay, good enough. Thanks for watching.